Hello, happy day 27. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so grateful to have you here so I can share this powerful tip with you. So actually today's topic is first a clarification. I want to make sure that you and that we're on the same page here. We likely are, but better to be safe than sorry. I want to make sure that we're on the same page in terms of this whole concept of joy. So what am I not saying? I'm not saying don't feel your negative, uncomfortable emotions. That's not what I want. That's not what I'm saying. I want to make sure we're clear on that, right? If you have some frustration, some anger, some sadness, etc., I'm not saying block it out, ignore it. That's actually not helpful. I'll touch on that in a second. I'm actually saying process it and move through it is what I suggest. So this whole concept of joy is not about those, bigger emotions that really need some processing and need to be figured out and dealt with and moved through. I'm talking about the littler things, the things that are like don't sweat the small stuff. When you're stuck in traffic and can't control it, choose something else, think differently, choose gratitude, change your attitude for the things that are the little things, such as just not a big deal things, the things that are little and just, things when you're making mountains out of molehills, those types of things is what I'm suggesting you choose joy. Maybe you can react to something differently or something that someone else wouldn't think is a big deal, but you're making a big deal out of, and maybe you realize, I can choose to think about this differently, whatever the case is. So that is what I want to make sure that we're on the same page about. Bigger emotions, of course, move through them, please process them, because actually it's not helpful to keep them bottled up inside. So actually you're going to be less joyful by keeping them bottled up. So I definitely recommend that you process emotions instead of just blocking them out. You're going to be less joyful because they're going to be bottling up, rising up inside you, and then just come out one day, right? So you're going to be a lot more joyful by taking the time to process them and move through them instead of having them just bubbling below the surface of your, fake joy, or not fake joy, but, feelings of joy or contentment, but they're really below the surface. So move through them so you can truly have some delicious joy there. So here are 4 tips to help you move through those uncomfortable emotions. So you can move through them, of course, take the time you need, and then feel more joy. So actually bonus tip too, I'm going to share the bonus tip first. Bonus tip is, now obviously there's things that, there's no time limit on them, such as unfortunately if you're processing a loss, a death, there's no time on that, of okay, be done with that in 5 minutes or something. But things that are less tragic, for lack of a better word, but less tragic, for lack of a better word, can you put a cap on them? That is my suggestion for you. Put a maximum time on them. So if it's something like maybe you had a stressful day at work and you're feeling really angry at your boss, you don't need to spend 3 hours on that, right? So put a time limit on that. Say, okay, you know what? Let me feel that anger and move through it maybe for, depending what it is, more like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or maybe an hour if you really need to think about it a lot, and then decide to move on. So put a time limit on it is my bonus tip. Okay, so three concrete ways to move through it. 1, of course, you could meditate, have some quiet and reflect and just let your thoughts move through and see if that helps you come to a different place, move through those emotions, have some reflections and maybe some epiphanies about that. Learn some different things from what you've been thinking about the situation. And the second one is to, of course, I know you've heard this, call a friend, speak to someone you love, vent, get it out of you. Get it out. And the third one similar to that is to, and it is to journal it out, write it out, get it out of your head, right? Journal it, type it out, whatever is good for you, but get it out of your head and onto some paper. Just do like a free-flowing stream of consciousness, get it out, and that way you can process it, you can stream of conscious, get all those feelings out, and move on to feeling differently because you've got it all out of your system, right? It's not boiling on inside of your head. And the fourth one is to dance it out, right? If you're feeling angry, put on an angry song, punch a pillow and dance it out in like an angry way and let those emotions move through you and get them out. And of course, if you're feeling sad, you could put on a slow song or a song that makes you cry. You could shed some tears and, move in a more slower way, a sad way, and let the emotions move through you and get them out. So those are my tips for you. I'll tell you again, the bonus is set a time limit on it. If it's something that, again, is not super tragic or, life destroying. That's, again, I'm not using the best words, but you know what I'm saying. If it's something that's, you're not going to think about when you're 92 or regret later, if it's not something of that huge magnitude, put a cap on it. Put, a time limit on it of how long you want to spend time thinking about it, and then try to let it go and move on to thinking about something else. And so again, those 4 tips are: you could meditate, you could dance it out, you could call a friend, and finally you could journal it out. What's your favorite tip? I'd love to know. Comment below, share so we can inspire each other. And that way everyone can learn even more tips. What do you find most helpful in terms of helping you process emotions, move through emotions? Share so we can all process emotions in an even more awesome way and have more joy through processing those emotions and then getting to move to different emotions. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you know anyone who would love this video or benefit from any of my other videos, thank you so much for sharing. Sending you so much love and healthy vibes, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.